Welcome everybody to Panfish Nation along with Mark. I'm Lyle, and Mark, let's talk about weather for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what us old guys do.
80 degrees in southwest Missouri today.
It's 47 degrees here. I just checked it.
It's still 70 here.
You know, I went fishing. We'll talk about that, but the water temp was 51 degrees. That's it.
It's pretty nice down here.
And the wind was blowing at 25 plus with gusts.
The wind, yeah, we're getting that wind every day. And I get up in the morning thinking, well, if it ain't windy, I'm going fishing, but it's windy every day. And it just makes for a miserable day. It doesn't matter if you're on the bank or in the boat. Wind is horrible, and I don't have to fool with it, so I don't. It'll quit one of these days, and then them 80s and 90s will feel like hundreds and 110s, and I'll be more miserable than ever.
Well, that'll happen next week for you?
Probably next month.
No. Down there in Hades, Missouri?
Oh, it gets hot down here. It does, but
well, like I said, I went fishing. We were talking before the show on was it on Tuesday and or yesterday, and I had 25-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up into the 30s. But I squeaked a bunch of small ones. I caught maybe 12 fish. I had 2 keepers left in the live well. I just let them go, drained the live well, took a picture and sent them on their way. One was an 11-incher, which I was pretty happy about, but I just couldn't keep the boat or the baits on the spot. They were hugging really tight to structure. Really tight. I couldn't find them out in the shallow. Well, actually, they were tight to structure in the shallow water. I was fishing a place in Rock Cut State Park called Pierce Lake, and it's got depths up to like 37 feet. It's pretty deep in certain spots. When the north end of the lake is real shallow. We're talking it gets anywhere from a foot to 4 feet at the best. So I headed that way. I found a stick sticking out of the water. It looked like it was definitely a tree that had been sunken. And I went over there and I kind of took a look at it with my live scope, and sure enough, there was fish on there, and it was kind of tucked a little out of the wind, not so much like the rest of the brush piles I was checking. They were just horrible. It was bad. I was finding fish but couldn't stay on top of them. Whether I was throwing a float, I threw some hand ties. Actually, that picture from tonight's show, or for tonight's show, that's a fish from yesterday using a hand tie, one of the smaller ones. I just couldn't stay. I couldn't stay on the spot. But that little stick that was sticking out of there, I threw the live scope down and saw it was a tree underwater in about 5 feet of water, and it had some fish on there. It wasn't loaded, but it had enough to target, and I stayed on them for a while. And then I picked 1 and 2 off a couple other brush piles, and by then it was, I don't know, 11:30. I had to head home. I had to take care of I don't know if is she in there? I had to take care of the little angel behind me in the crate here. But it was a good day. I had fun.
That's awesome. That's that's the idea behind it, to have a good time when you go out anyhow. But it's been so windy, and the places that I go to bank fish, you can't get any cell service, so there's really no sense to go to them places and do anything unless you're just videotaping or just trying to find your bait or whatever. But I just don't want out on the lake when it's 25-mile-an-hour winds in a boat. It's hard to load and unload and stay on top of stuff when you're looking for them. And I'm thinking if they're not on the rocks, then bluegill will start being up there pretty quick. I'm anxious to get on some of them and catch some bigger bluegill. I know they're in these lakes. I haven't got into them yet, but I know that I'm going to, and I'm going to really work on this year. Eric Massey says wind is horrible. Eric's been fishing a lot here lately, and if he says it's horrible, it is. But I knew it was. It's just been miserable. So,
well,
but
he's been on the fish the past few days for the last week or two, if I'm not mistaken. I keep seeing posts from him. I need to give Eric a call and touch bases with him, see how he's doing all that, and how he's doing in general. I know he's been on TikTok quite a bit and doing a lot of that stuff we talked in the past. Eric's a good guy and he knows how to find them crappie on. Is he on? Oh no, he's on Palm. I can't remember how to say the name. Pompeter, that's it. That is it. I've been meaning to give him a call. I just haven't. I was going to head out and do a little fishing today, Lyle, but I had to go take care of a couple of things. I had a doctor's appointment, then I had to go get ready for my requalification for my CCL and stuff. So, but we got that out of the way, and tomorrow looks open up, and the weather doesn't look too bad. It'll be a little chilly, but we're going to try and get out. So,
right. Sounds good. We're going to have a giveaway tonight, so everybody needs to stay tuned for that. We'll give away a few jigs, got some new stuff out, and we're going to let somebody try some of them out for us.
That jig that's on that thumbnail, that's one of yours. Is that the kind you're going to be giving away, Lyle?
That is the kind.
Excellent. They worked for me. They'll work for you guys, folks. I'm trying to get this started up, the giveaway tool, so we have it when we're ready.
So far, everybody that's tried them has had success with them. That's basically all I've used all spring, which I haven't been out as much as a lot of people because of the weather and wind, and I just don't have to. But they do work. So if conditions are right, it's like any other kind of bait, they'll be good to you. So we'll get some of that away.
Look at this, setting hooks across the ice. Says 10 medium bluegill, 13 pumpkin seeds, all on a slimp bobber with the worm. 20 minutes, just got home. That's the kind of bait catching you want.
Wow, that's getting it on now.
Heck yeah.
That is getting it on.
What do you say I say hello to everybody, Lon?
Let's do that.
All right. We got Crappie Day Fish on. Thank you for being a channel member. We appreciate you. There's Eric Massey, Jig Company. What's up, Eric? Jeff Beal had a tournament this weekend. Hopefully that was a success. I tuned in for a minute there right once when I got home, said hello to everybody. I don't think he saw me out there, but I was there. There's our buddy Joe Buck 66. He's a channel member. Thank you for your support. There's Jeff Baker in the house. How you doing? Nuts and bolt fishing. Laura the Explorer. She's been going live. Saw her live. Was it today, Laura, with a friend of yours? I think I peeked in there while I was working. I've been kind of busy. Rowdy Royal in the house. I like that name a lot. There's Ryan from Setting Hooks and Crossing Eyes. What's up, bud? Small Waters Charters in the house. How you doing, John? Florida man. Uptown Chrissy Brown. We're sending her some hugs as always. There's Worm Dunker. You got to love that name too. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't spoken up in chat, we can't say hello to you, so we'll try to do that during the show if you feel like speaking up. So Lyle, you wanted to talk about ultralight fishing, which I like right. Rod, especially that rod I got from you. I would consider that, even though it's a little bit on the longer side, it's still an ultralight. It's very limber fishing rod. You know, I got it spooled up with, I think I got 2 pound on there? No, I think I got 4 pound on there, which is probably a little heavy for my ultralight liking. I'd like to try to keep it to a 2 pound test. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it works. Makes it a lot easier to throw them 1/80th ounce jigs. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. The reason for the topic of tonight's show is I had a guy contact me a few days ago. Don't know exactly when, but it was a few days ago, and wanted to know my perspective on microlight stuff versus ultralight versus light action. And I said, well, I'm not a big proponent of the microlight stuff, and I'm not. It's not that I don't use it. I've got some, enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, but if I'm going to do that, the ice rods that I build are a lot more fun, and I've caught 21-pound channel cat on them, so I know they will do what it is, and they are a blast. My favorite probably is the ultralight, and it's just because 4 and 6 pound test line, if you're in stuff that you need to get out, 6 pound test, you'd be surprised at how many times you can bend a hook, a gold Aberdeen hook or one on a jig, and get your stuff back, and then take a pair of needle nose and bend it back into shape and catch a fish the next time. That's one of the reasons for that. And if you're doing that a lot, then I might consider going up to a light action rod and a longer one, because you can get a further cast. I don't think unless you're going with braid, there's no sense ever going over 6 pound test line especially mono. Uh, Now, 10-pound braid, according to all the packaging and stuff, and braid is the same as diameter as 2 pound. I'm not sure that's correct. I
It's
think
two
some
or
of that,
four. It's one or the other. I don't know for
yeah,
sure. Don't quote us on that, folks.
it works really well, and I do like braid, and that will, yes, you're right, Eric. Um, that will bend a lot of hooks where you can get your stuff back. And like I say, if you don't have a pair of pliers, needle nose especially, that you can bend stuff around and put it back in, it's not hard to do. It's not rocket science. They don't have to be exactamundo, but you need to get them where they'll go in there and get your fish. But um, when you're losing a jig every time you throw, that gets old pretty quick. You know what I mean?
It does.
But that's my perspective on the three. Now, a lot of times, if I'm in bigger fish or getting a bass every once in a while, the light action with 6 pound test on it is a lot of fun, and them bass don't mess you around. You can have your way with them when they get home.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what you can catch with 6 pound tests. I use, my crappie rods, my ACCs that I like using quite a bit. Say what you will about them, I've had nothing but good luck with them. 6 pound tester I haven't hooked into a fish that I haven't been able to bring in. I've broken line. I've had a couple knots, my fault, come loose on them. Other than that, they work pretty well. When you're looking at ultralight, like I says, a 4 pound test, a 2 pound test line, with a super limber rod is guaranteed to be a good time. Now, my ultralight, my lightest ultralight's a St. Croix Lyle that I bought a while back. And I bought that for trout fishing, believe it or not, because I'm throwing the reason why I like that rod or an ultralight setup is to throw cast light baits a longer distance. That being said, you still got to baby them when you get them on the line. No joke, and that's half the fun of it.
That's exactly right. And I do some 7-footers, and they're okay. My pick is a 6 or 6.5 foot. And since I built a few of them for Dockery, the 2-piece ones, I've become pretty fond of those for ultra. And I wouldn't, if I was going back to tournament fishing for catfish, I wouldn't use a 2-piece rod. I just wouldn't. I don't care who made it, if I made it or somebody else. I want every part of that to be able to bring that fish in, and I don't trust 2-piece rods that well. Even though I've used 2-piece 10-footers and caught huge sticks and fish and everything else on them, they will do the job if built correctly. The problem is a lot of these China guys that make them, they don't do them correctly. At least in my mind, they don't, and they start cracking around where the two joints go together, and that's an issue. But there's a way to do it to stop it. So,
the only problem I've had with 2-piece setup, with 2-piece rods, and it's time. Let's say you got a fiberglass rod, and it's a 2-piece. That fiberglass will fray. After a while, it'll get sun damage, and that's like the point of failure. And it's never broken while I've caught a fish. That wasn't my fault by high sticking or something like that. But I do notice that wear and tear on them will do that. I like 1-piece rods because they fit in my rod locker. I got a pickup bed truck that when I put them in on an angle, they fit in there. I can fit 8-foot rods on an angle in the back of mine. So I don't really have that reason for a 2-piece rod. Storage isn't an option. Where I store all my rods up, either if they're not in my boat, I made a rod rack like the one on Fishing and Stuff did early on in his video career out of PVC, which works real good. Only thing I'm sorry about is that I did make it twice as long. I have a buddy of mine who laser cut me some rod racks for up on my ceiling in my garage. So I keep a lot of rods up there stored away. That works well. Only thing is, if you got spiders in your garage, like we got a lot of, they get all over the place. So you got to either have have them covered or whatever. I don't put my more expensive gear up on the ceiling for that reason, because it just gets in the quote unquote the whole gear work of them. We got some people that came in here. I want to make sure we don't miss.
Okay, I was going back checking on that. Go ahead.
Okay, we got Lance McCougai in the house. How you doing, Lance? I see Benoit Fishing Outdoors. There's our buddy Creole Catfishing. Looks like he recovered from having Chris and Freddie out there with him. We got Big Mike Fishing Chronicles. I think that's a different Big Mike than we're thinking about, or not. Who knows? Welcome to the show. He says, I am just getting into crappie fishing. I fish grass-stained waters. What are two colors I can go to with? Disco gold. If it's super stained, I would use a really bright bait. And if it was clear, I would use a really bright bait. That's where I would start. A lot of people say different, but you can guarantee that the fish are going to see them. After that, go with a natural presentation, because they are finding minnows, whether it's grass stained or not. Wouldn't you agree, Lyle?
I would. My two favorite for a situation like that would be black and green, and chartreuse, and a dark brown or black.
There you go. The head, when I say disco gold, the head on that jig right next to Lyle and on the thumbnail, that's disco gold.
And they really shine.
And which is a pain in the butt to paint, I ain't gonna lie.
They are.
Hello, Jody. How you doing, dear? What's going on? What's going on, Dawson? Fishing with squirrel in the house. What's going on? Eric, and here's that comment from Eric that we talked about for a second earlier. It says, gold Aberdeen hooks are so worth having.
Absolutely.
You can, if you look hard enough, Lyle, you can find really thin gauge Aberdeen hooks, and those work really well for getting out of snags. They're even easier than the standard ones.
That's exactly right. Welcome, Greg Burgess, Bugman22. Glad to see you guys in here tonight.
Did I say hello to Jody?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Jeff Beal, I hope we got him.
I think we did.
Okay. Don't remember all. Welcome to the nation. That's right. If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up, please go ahead and do so if you like the content. If you really like the content, you can subscribe, and you could be a member. Just join down below.
Creole Catfish, it says, our clear water here looks like black. Almost like a tea color. What are good colors to go to? Same thing, especially with that black. Go with like a disco gold or a disco silver to start, whether it's just the jig head or the actual jig in general. Now, Creole, first bait I would go to down where you live is Cajun cricket, and that's just for the name, buddy. That's a pretty hard to stop bait. I've been doing really well on them this year.
Works very well. Well, we do have a James Dockery special for those of you that's looking for one. As soon as I get it out here.
Chadwick's watching from a distance. What's going on? Cotton picking, fishing in the house. How you doing, Stephanie?
You tell me that's not James Dockery color.
Nice.
That's got to be a James Dockery special right there.
That'll work good too. That's very visible underwater as well.
Absolutely. Purple flash in it to go along with the multicolors. White, like a lot of the fish bellies are, and an orange head.
And those are the new ones you've been working on, right, Lyle?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
They have great action. I can attest to that. I was using them on yesterday.
I was worried about that as I started doing this, but the action on them is amazing, or I think it is. It really looks fishy.
Now, you'd mentioned Microlite. I don't think I have anything. I don't think I have heard the term before. Can you explain that a little more?
Microlights are stuff that they don't recommend anything heavier than 4-pound test on them. Most of them are 2-pound and 1-pound stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, I can't see good enough to tie a jig on 1-pound test. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen 1-pound test, but I know a lot of people in these articles and videos talk about 1-pound test when it's really tough to catch fish. And I'm thinking, man, if I got to go below 4, I probably ain't going to do it. Even with glasses right now, it's hard for me to tie 4-pound test line. So 2 and 1 is out of the question.
I use All right, I use ice fishing line when I get down in a 2 pound, and they do sell a 1 pound. I haven't been brave enough to purchase that. If I ever got into like micro fishing, where you're fishing for, when you're species targeting to see how many you can get on your list,
Mm-hmm.
when you're looking for fish like dace or shiners or whatever those smaller bait fish we would consider are,
fish.
that's where I would use something like that. So
Yeah, I just I tie up all my stuff before I leave to go, so when I get there, it's ready to go. But invariably, you'll break one off or have to do something. There's times when I've took 3 rods and walked down to the creek, and when I get down there, in no time, I've got them all 3 broke off, and I got to go back up to the truck to tie them back up because a lot of times I don't take the glasses down there because I've lost them in the everything else. And it just makes it for a pain in the ass if it's smaller than 4-pound test. For me, I just really struggle with it, so I just don't use it.
do you wear sunglasses, Lyle, when you go
Oh
fishing?
yeah.
Well, get yourself a pair with. Now, here's my tip for this week's show. You can find sunglasses with readers built in and bifocals.
I got some.
I have those. I would be dead in the water without them.
I've got them, but I don't always take them with me for whatever reason. But the ones I got are prescription, actually. But like I said, yeah, but they're old and need to be redone. And the eye doctor's office pissed me off, so I won't go back there. I got to find another place.
Yeah, I'm getting to that, but I got to go to the eye doctor too. I used to these are readers, if you guys are wondering when I wear
Mine too.
they're just readers, so I can read your chats and stuff. Other than that, I normally wouldn't have to, but I noticed my vision's getting bad too, which affects your fishing life. Maybe we should have a show about that.
That's a good idea.
It might be setting hooks across an ice. Thinks the 4-pound, I think, is good that way. When a bass hits, you can play them real nice. I agree.
I agree with that. Yes, sir. Just contact me if there's any of them that you're interested in. You can go to the Panfish Nation jigs and fly thing, and there's hundreds of ones on there to choose from.
Or he can email you too, right, Lyle, at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. David Smith, welcome. Glad to see you in chat tonight. Always a pleasure. I think we said hello to Lance.
We did. And Benoit Fishing Outdoors. We didn't miss them.
Nope.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd be so interested. I would consider fly fishing to be pretty close to ultralight fishing, or am I thinking about it the wrong way? Because I have zero.
No, it's very similar to that, except it's a lot different. But I do love fly fishing. I've got a bunch of flies I need to get tied up. I have boxes of different flies. Some of them work certain times of year. Some of them won't work certain times of the year. But I like to do a setup for a fly rod where I have a bug with squiggly legs up on the top doing its thing, and then one that'll drop down about 12, 14, 16 inches below it as a trailer. And that's the one they'll hit most of the time. They'll get attracted by the top bug, and the bottom one will be half that size. And those bluegill, they really like that one. And I know guys do fly fish for crappie. I've not tried that yet, but I find it very interesting.
Well, our buddy Kim Burnett does that quite a bit.
Yes, he does.
And during spawn would be the time to do it, if I would imagine.
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, when they're up in the shallows and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's probably when I'll try it, and that's not very far off. In fact, they are spawning in some areas here.
Well, I would have to think about that, because when the males are spawning on beds, they're protecting the nests. I don't know if they'd go after a fly or not, but it couldn't hurt to try.
It wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't hurt to try, especially if you get something that sinks. You get a wet fly or something. I'm sure you can drag it across there, and they'd hit it anyways.
Absolutely. David Smith says, I'd buy readers in a 5-pack and keep a pair in every tackle box and extras in a boat. That's a great idea. What a tip.
There's a pair. There's a pair.
I got 2 pair here plus a pair of prescription glasses and 1 lens for it's in the truck, and the rest of them's in here. So actually have better luck with the readers than I do the prescription classes. They last longer, but they aren't quite as scratch resistant.
This is true. I scratch the heck out of these.
Me too. Creole says, I still want to catch a skipjack on a fly rod. That would be a battle royale. It really would. They're fun to catch. They really are. Laura says, oh, fly fishing for bluegill. That sounds fun. It is a blast. It is a blast. If you're in a location where there's plenty of them, you can just have a great day catching bluegill on a fly rod. You really can.
Wait, I wanted to highlight this one first real quick. Ryan says cicada flies this year. That'd probably be the good ticket since they're all coming up.
They haven't started coming up yet, have they?
Not yet, but they will. You'll know when they do. It'll be loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, last time they did, we had them here. It was everywhere and made so much noise. Just you want to shoot them. Kind of like something else I know about. Was catching bluegill on a beadhead nymph last week. Very nice. Yep, popping bug. That's for sure. I haven't found a reliable source to get popping foam yet. I guess I'm just going to have to make it myself. That'd probably be the best way because poppers for bluegill, once the water temperature gets up and stays up, that's so much fun. It's unbelievable.
Ryan says, no, they spawn in the hottest part of the year, June, July. Are you talking about bluegill? Because I've seen bluegill on beds that time of year for sure, more than I care to share in spots that I won't share. I think we're going to get on them this year, though, Lyle.
Oh, I think so.
I think now, you guys need to keep this between us. I think I need to catch a mess of bluegills, fillet them up before Sheila can see them, feed them to her, and tell her they're crappie and see what she thinks. What do you guys think?
I think they'd say they're the best crappie she ever ate.
I think we'll need to try
that. Eric Massey says, when we were kids, we always used poppers for bluegill. Absolutely.
He was talking about the cicadas, so that's when they're coming in June, July.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, those little poppers, I've thrown them before too. They're a lot of fun. And remember, we've talked about this many times over the time we've been doing this show and the other shows with those water floats, and those are pretty fun to catch. So
absolutely, yeah.
They've even caught some stalker trout on them. Those are always fun to see them surface and come after something. Which is what really, is why I want to try fly fishing.
That's a blast.
Excuse me about that. Lyle, the coho bite is smoking hot up here on Lake Michigan. I'm reading stuff on Facebook and talking to the guys at Waukegan Salmon Shop, and guys are limiting out like 3 men limits. That's 15 cohos in less than an hour. They can't get all their lines up before they're catching them. So that's definitely something that I'd like to try this year. And the only reason why I bring this up is because if anybody out there does this on a boat and wants to mentor me, contact me at mark@catfishingcrappie.com. Figure I'd put that out there. Self-serving post right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's if I want to find out or want to learn something from somebody, for me to catch on to it quick, the best way to do that is to jump in with a boat with somebody that really knows what they're doing, and you have a great day. Sometimes you make a new friend, but it's a faster way to learn. And I've had people at tournaments want to learn how to bump, and I'd take where I should have been pre-fishing and go to spend the afternoon with a guy teaching him how to bump down the Mississippi River so they know how. And sometimes it costs you. They might beat you in a tournament. But if you want to know, that's the best way to know is jump in a boat with somebody, no matter what the object is you're trying to learn, and have somebody that really knows show you. It works very well. And it's a lot of fun.
You said something that kind of is important to me. You know, when you go to help people or show people how to do stuff, don't do it for credit because you're always going to get hurt in the end. Do it because you want to do it, right,
That's
Lyle?
exactly right. Do it because you're just trying to be a nice guy.
Or if it gives you fulfillment to hand down what you know. I think that's why I do a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past.
That's right.
And I had an opportunity to go on a charter this today actually, but I just couldn't make it out there because of the doctor's appointment and stuff. But a guy called or emailed me, said he had an opening out of Waukegan. I wasn't able to make it up there though, but he's keeping me in mind. Anytime he has an open up, he was going to throw me on a boat. But other than that, I'd like to get out there before this coho run is over, which is, I don't know how long it is. I'll have to find out though.
Yeah, I don't know, but I understand coho is really good eating.
They're the best ones. They say they're the best tasted ones, and the ones I've had, it would lead me to believe it true. They're the small salmon you catch out here. They're not the big kings. I think when they're in landlocked lakes, that's a mouthful for me. In the mountains, they're called what are they called? Kokanee salmon. I believe it's the same thing. I think they're silver salmon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure Lance would know too.
Probably so. Danny Stone Outdoors has made it in. Coho tastes much better than king salmon. Okay. I like salmon. So.
I need about 5 of them on my smoker, Lyle. No joke.
I'm thinking that would be a good time.
Or 4, and I'll save 1 to have for dinner with some lemon on the grill. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. Sounds awful good.
Talking about food.
Said you are right, Mark.
That's what I hear. It's been so long since I had them side by side. I don't know. Here, I'll type your email in the chat for Big Mike. Big Mike's asking for your email.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. I missed. But we don't see all the chat. So if something happens and you need us to mention something, or you're trying to get in touch with one of us, and just keep putting it up there, because I didn't know that. I didn't see Mike's post that he made there, and even with both of us watching chat, we don't always catch everything.
Stan obviously has been watching. He says he wears 2 pairs of glasses. His eyes got so bad.
Wow, that's worse than mine. I a lot of times got 2 pair, but I don't wear them both at the same time.
So, what type of spinning reel are you running on an ultralight setup, Law? What do you like to use?
I like the Siennas. I've had really good luck with 2 that I bought. They're 2 years old. Haven't done anything to them except change line on them once. They've been flawless, but they haven't seen a lot of gunk and crap get on them. I don't get them dirty and things. They stay in the back of my truck nearly all the time. One of them has been on 3 or 4 different rods. The other one has found it a lifetime home on the rod it's on. But for the money, I mean, you're talking about $30 reel and not having any trouble with it in 2 years. It's hard to pass up a deal like that. Now, is there better reels out there? Absolutely. I've got some really nice Mitchells and some Pinnacles and stuff like that are older, but they're very nice. But they're not the same as these Siennas. And as far as sizes, I've got 500 series, 1,000 series, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 series. They all basically say the same thing when just depends on the company that made them, how they're going to call them what they are. 500 series is the real tiny ones, and I like using them, but they're for the guys that's using a 2 and 4 pound test line. They work really well. The 1,000 series is sort of like that, but you can put 6 pound test on them and do all right. But the 1,500 and 2,000 series are a little bit more forgiving. Now, on the really small and lightweight rod blanks, they will make them a little bit out of balance. but not bad enough that it'll hurt you when you're casting or anything. Um, but the 2500 series and the 3000, to me, that's a little too heavy for panfish. That's why the 1500, 2000 series are my favorites, and I get along really well with them. And you can put 4-pound test on them; they work exceptionally well with 6. They just do.
I like a little. Well, you said something that I consider probably the most important to me, and that's the how it balances your combo. If you're casting all day, which you probably are if you're fishing artificials, or even if you're, being pretty aggressive float fishing, which, fan casting areas, moving on fan casting areas, balance is pretty important to me. So I'll use like a 2000. I like the arbor size. I can cast light diameter line a lot farther than I can with, let's say, a 500. That's just the thing. But if that 2000 is too, okay, let's go back to the beginning. I'll order a rod, right, Lyle? Or I'll get a rod like the one I got from you. And before I order a reel for it, I got a bunch. I got 500 series reels at home, thousands, 2000, 3000. Obviously, I got up to like a 5000, right? I'll figure out which one that I want to put on there, and I'll put it on there, and I'll just check the balance to it. That makes fishing a lot easier. If you have a balanced rod, I seem to believe you're going to have less tangles because you're not, you can get a smoother motion going. It just works best for me. So that would be my word of advice: is get a reel that balances your combo out. You'll know what it is when you hit that sweet spot.
And if you have a rod that you're wanting to use, find a local mom and pop store and go take the rod and tell them what you're doing. They most likely will let you put it on there and get a feel for it to find out if it's balanced or not. The line won't add that much weight to it. You go to a box store and tell them you want to take a new one out of the box, and you own it. They're not going to let you do that.
Not if you Amazon it. They'll let you return anything.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And sometimes they just let you keep it if you don't want it.
That happens a lot too. I got lots of
To
stuff.
me, it's unbelievable. But a mom and pop store, they want to sell you that reel. They're probably really close, if not equal, to the same price as a box store, and they really, really appreciate your business. So just take your rod of choice down there. Say, hey, I'm looking for a reel that'll balance with this rod. Do you have some I can try? And they'll steer you in the right direction. If they've been in business any length of time, they will.
I agree. Wolf from Custom Rods has joined us. I've heard somebody mention Stonefly's name. What's going on, Stonefly? How you doing, bud? If you're in here, Wolf from Custom Rods. I believe he's from Minnesota, up near.
He's up north. I know.
Up north near our buddy Luke. If I'm not mistaken, he makes some good stuff too.
He does make some quality pieces.
There's Matt from Want to Be Outdoors. There's Mike Irvin. What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
He said, yep.
I just lost internet connection. Hopefully mine will come back.
Well, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Hopefully they heard me too. I'm trying to see if this happened. Danny says I need to get a smaller reel. I'm running a Panfish 4000 right now.
Yeah, you might. There's Freddie's joined us.
What's up, Frederick? How you doing, bud?
A 4000, Danny. Oh, Danny, you're a pisser.
Our buddy Brandon returns ripped cast nets on Amazon. There you go. No,
that's a deal if you can get away with it, I guess. I'm not sure I got the stones to do that.
I'm still laughing. I do. I might have to try that.
I should have saved all them. I thrown away.
Yeah, I would never do that, Amazon, if you're watching. Guerrero Bagre in the house. What's going on, bud? How you doing?
Glad to see you in here. Oh, man.
Freddie's work. There's our buddy workaholic Josh. All right, I think I'm caught up on chat.
Katie Dockery just sent me a picture of a crappie she caught on one of them red and black jigs that I sent her.
Nice.
Yeah. Good crappie. But she's the one that catches most of the fish in that family, I think.
Speaking of crappie, I have an associate here, not associate. There's a guy I know. He's given me bait before. Real nice young kid. His name's Patrick. I believe his Instagram name is I Fish Illinois, something like that. I could find out and post it on the community tab if you guys want. But he caught a 20-inch crappie this week.
Wow.
I'm like, Patrick, did you get away? He said, nope, no scale. I was just bank fishing. But I did have a tape measure in his bag. This thing was huge. This thing was like this big, Lyle. This thing was monstrous.
Crazy.
So shout out to Patrick. Good job. I'm sure Ryan might know him too.
I'm going to try this. I know you guys never liked me doing it. But
are you sharing something out, Lyle?
I'm trying to.
Oh, here. I'm going to cover my eyes. I don't know if I want to see this.
How about that? Can you see that?
Oh, I can see that. Look at that.
That's Katie Dockery's fish she caught on that. I'm quite sure that James is jealous. He probably hadn't caught one that big in months or two. But that's one of those jigs. And when they're wet, they look a whole lot different than they do when they're dry. And like I say, the action on them is really, really good. So thank you for sending that to us, Katie. Appreciate it very much. How'd I do, Mark?
You did bad because you didn't close the window out before you opened it. You never know what's behind there. I saved you. I took it off.
Okay. No, I had no idea.
Josh reminded me not to let you do that.
It is what it is. I like doing it.
Here's a question that I do not know the answer for because I do not bass fish, but I'm sure somebody will chat will be able to answer it if Lyle or I can't. Big Mike Fishing Chronicle says, do crappie spawn before bass or after bass? I believe it's before, but I could be wrong.
I think it's before.
If anybody could confirm that in chat, I would appreciate it. I try not to claim on knowing stuff that I don't.
I know Dockery knows the answer to that. Well, they'll send me a message after teasing him about Katie's crappie.
He probably will.
Well, I know he knows that answer.
Josh says around the same time, maybe slightly before.
Okay.
Ryan says pretty sure crappie first.
I think so. But that may be the same one area and not the other, and who knows? I thought it was right after, but I could be wrong.
Could be too. All I know is that bluegill usually spawn around here or the lakes that I fish when it gets nice and hot out, which is probably late June.
Yeah.
In my experience.
They'll start here last part of May sometimes, and then the 1st of June for sure. They have been on the bank with the crappie. It makes for a fun day, don't it, Eric? Did me no good to catch them bass. If they're big enough, I will be taking them home for dinner. Because every one of them I eat will not eat another one of my bluegill.
Danny says the crappie here already got fat bellies with eggs in them at Otter Slough Conservation Area.
That is a great place to duck hunt.
One thing I noticed, Lyle, is that the crappie I've been catching, they didn't have eggs yet. They weren't even close. Well, I didn't cut them open, but their bellies weren't full. That's for sure.
Right. How far behind us are you on seasonal?
I don't know. When do you go in? When does yours go into spawn? Ours is usually
now.
Right around the middle of May, end of May, in my past year's experience. They'll stage back and forth. It all depends on the spring we're having. With 50-degree water temps, nothing's going to happen. And finding them on, I found on 4 out of 6 brush piles yesterday in deeper water. I mean, one of them was in 23 feet of water I was finding crappie in. That tells me they haven't even staged up yet.
I just got a message. I can't repeat it, but he's killing me. Eric Master says they make a great sandwich. You're right, they do. Oh, you just me. Oh, oh, that is too funny. I mean, just absolutely too funny. Big Mike's Fishing Chronicle says, I am in D.C. and we are still in the Priest Pond.
You got a name for those jigs, Lyle?
No.
All right.
I need to come up with something, but I haven't yet. Eric says, we've been eating them. Make great sandwiches.
I hear smallmouth are pretty tasty too. I wouldn't know anything.
They are.
Them.
They are.
I might.
They are. I probably wouldn't even say that unless I could make some basketaholics mad, but I'm not a fan. I can't use them for bait, so what good are they?
Yeah, Stan, I thought you might need to hit that live button, buddy. Stan was a little behind in the show, but that's okay. Eric says they started spawning here this year at 59 degrees. Ours is 60 or plus in the past. So I think moon phase might have something to do with pushing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder about that. I have no way of proving that one way or the other. I've tried to study moon phases and tidal stuff with the moon and how it affects different things. And I really don't get the concept of how all that works. It's like pressure. One guy tell you, well, barometric pressure got to be dropping to catch fish. Next guy said, well, it's got to be steady or they won't bite. Next guy said, well, if it's not raising, I ain't even going. How do you know? I'll tell you how you know. You fish when you can because it's good for you.
Amen. Just thinking that if I can go fishing, I'm going fishing.
Danny Stone says Richard Cluck found an MDC article. We have snakeheads in Duck Creek Conservation Area and a Mingo Walla. How did they get there? Somebody had to put them in there. Somebody had to put them in there.
You figure MDC wouldn't mess up and mistake a bowfin for a snakehead.
I don't think they stock that. Parker says they have spawned in the smaller lakes around here already.
I mean, Eric does agree that he thinks it might have been a move, but he wasn't paying attention. So, welcome to my world.
He just fishes. Stan says smallies are delicious. Firm white meat. I harvest them if they were in the slot size and if they swallowed hooks, etc. They are good eating. I think they're far better than a largemouth, but a largemouth is not terribly bad eating. They're not a crappie or a bluegill, but
well, a small eel lives on the rocks, usually in a river, moving water. They just taste better than a pond.
They love crawfish. They really do.
What do you say I share the screen out and let people know what they need to enter to be entered in this giveaway?
That sounds like a good idea. I didn't realize we was this far along in the show.
I just noticed too. I'm like, I better get this up there.
This went fast.
Oh yeah. Hashtag Lyle Jigs if you want to be entered in the giveaway. Are you going to give away just one set, Lyle? What's the plan?
I'm going to give away. I got these little bags. If you can see it.
I'll give you a.
They call them jewelry bags, but me and everybody that has anything to do, it sends out things, ships jigs and heads and different things, ship them in them, and I will put an assortment in that bag and put it in a manila envelope and ship it.
I know some people out that would call them little baggies something totally different, but this is a family show.
Probably so, but I don't know nothing about it. Honest to God, I don't know nothing about it. I never did do any of that. I was doing other things that required immediate attention all the time. So, and I was plenty crazy as a younger person. I mean, plenty. You think Dockery's crazy? He'd make a pimple on my butt in them days. Well, I don't know. I've talked to him. He done a lot of the same stuff, like Creo. I'm not sure him and I ain't related somehow down the line.
Stan says snakeheads live out of water for days and they sell them in the Asian markets live, even though they're not supposed to.
Oh wow! If that's the case, then they could have got there anyway. Yeah, I don't know anything about them. Never have caught one or ate one or used one for bait.
There's our buddy James Dockery. He says, hashtag Lyle can't fish worth a jig.
The ass clown's what he is. But I love him, man. James and I have so much fun messaging back and forth, and if I don't hear from him in a day or two, I'm either contacting him or Katie to find out if he's all right, because hell, somebody may have dunked his head underneath the water and holding it there. Just never know.
What's going on, Mr. Tully? How you doing? I'd just like to message you every day, just to message you every day. That's all. If you answer, you answer. If not, I'm pretty sure you're napping, and you always answer back in a reasonable time.
I usually do, yeah. Danny Stone says, I just sent you the information on the snakeheads here, and you judge for yourself. I'll look at it here after the show, buddy. Thanks.
Big Mike's Fishing Chronicles says snakeheads are good eating out your way. A lot of people eat them. I've heard that by many people.
Good deal. Well, if they're good eating, let's catch some and try them. We'll get together, Mark, and put them on a smoker, and we'll either make them good or wish they was.
Getting texts right now from everybody, Lyle. Well, we'll get that to ourselves.
I'm getting somebody afraid to look at them. I'm kidding. James says, for years they sold snakeheads in pet shops for aquarium fish. That is how they get in there. That could very possibly
I bet that's true, as well as I firmly believe that people buy them and let them free for their own purposes. You know, somebody who's used to eating a species of fish that they don't have in their area and they want to taste a home, they'll bring them. They don't care.
Absolutely. And, I've told this before on Catfish Weekly, not sure here. Asian carp has become a staple. We're never going to get rid of them. They will knock your head off if they get a chance jumping in your boat. But if you ever eat one of them, they're not that bad. They're I'm not saying they're catfish quality or bluegill or crappie quality, but they're very eatable. All white meat is very firm. They're very tasty. There's nothing wrong with eating them. You're going to get them in your boat whether you want them or not. So might as well either use them for bait or eat them.
Parker Pursuit says snakehead, same thing as turtlehead in emergency situation. Congratulations, Jerry got a turkey. I saw in just a little.
I did. That's amazing. Yeah, good for him.
Oh, and before we forget, we want to make sure we keep Jerry's sister-in-law in our prayers, Tim Moline in our prayers, and whoever else might need them.
Jeff Dodd just got out of the hospital. A good friend of mine, one of the elite tournament catfishermen in the whole wide world. He was in there for several days. He got to go home, I believe it was yesterday. My thoughts or prayers are definitely with him. And there was someone else that I seen right before the show started in a feed that I was looking at that caught me off guard that they was having problems. I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry. But we have a lot of folks in the fishing community, and prayers are a wonderful thing. It doesn't matter if you believe or you don't believe. You'd be surprised at the difference it makes a lot of times. And a lot of these people that are having issues will tell you that.
Agreed.
There you go, Stan.
That's right, Stan. Stan says, for all the community, for all in the community in need of God's strength and peace. Amen. All right, David Smith. I don't think I said hello to him. How you doing, David? So what, you got any plans to fish this weekend, Lyle, or are you just going to dodge storms like I am all weekend?
Well, from right now, it looks like we've had terrible wind all week, and now we're going to have thunderstorms next 2 days. So it'll be after that because I'm not going to go out there and stand the thunderstorm fish, and I sure ain't going to put the boat in there just to make sure the sump pump works.
We get a lot of crap for being fair weather fishermen, though, don't we, Lyle?
We do. But I don't have to do it any other way.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't either. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not in this life to make someone else happy, except when we do these shows and stuff. And I'm just trying to help them catch more fish. But when it comes to standing in a thunderstorm, I don't have to be out there with that lightning rod in my hand, and I'm not gonna be. So that's just the way it is.
You know, I got a couple of spots that I don't mind fishing in the rain, but when that rain turns sideways, I'm done. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I got a couple of gazebos I can fish off of underneath a couple of factory roof overhangs, stuff like that.
I have been in thunderstorms in the boat and tournaments where you had so much on the line, you thought you'd have a sack that would be in the money. You couldn't quit and just go in because you needed that one kicker fish to put you over for where you knew you needed to be. And you stayed out there and fought it for no more fish and got drowned to go in and not even be close to the top 20, so things happen. Another time, we could have went in and been in the top 5 right off because in the first 30 minutes we had the fish that we took to weigh in. We never could upgrade from them and put us in the top 5. So you just don't know. But as long as the lightning ain't too bad, I'm pretty good to go. When that lightning starts, I'm headed to the house.
I'm out of there too. I mean, granted, there's always good clothing to wear in bad inclement rain and snow and stuff. But
absolutely.
I ain't gonna lie. I hate putting on bibs. I feel like I'm in a hefty bag. I'm not too happy about that. Like a sweatsuit.
I understand. I like them in the wintertime.
Making the family jewels extra marinated. I'm not a fan of that.
All righty then. If everybody's not in the drawing, you better hurry up. We're going to get ready to go here pretty shortly.
Yes, enter in hashtag Lyle Jigs, just like it shows up on the screen. It's not case sensitive, but please make sure if you want to get in on this, you'll enter that in there and we'll draw. And you said you were going to give away one set of those, right, Lyle?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. I'm going to try and get some jig heads painted. Maybe I'll add some of those to do a giveaway next week. What do you say?
That sounds good.
All right.
That sounds good.
They're going to be 1/16 with number 2 hooks. I ain't making them small ones. My fingers are too bloody sore for messing with them little hooks.
Well, these will be assorted size, but most of them will be 1/16 ounce. It's kind of, I'm not saying it's the standard, but most people use a 1/16. I've got some as small as 1/80th. Takes a special kind of guy to use them. And I've got them up to, 1/4 ounce. I haven't made any bigger than that. I don't really see much. For what I do, I don't see anything big, need for bigger than 1/4.
I would use 1/80th for like bluegill and stuff, definitely. And
yeah.
I like that idea you had a long time ago about using longer shanked hooks in those jig heads. That makes all the sense in the world to me.
It keeps them from swallowing a lot of times. And if you're catching small fish that you're going to release or going to keep and use for bait, use the longer shank hooks, and you can just reach down there with your finger, push it loose, and pull it out. You don't damage the fish nearly as bad, and if they bleed, they'll quit pretty quick. If they get too deep with them short hooks, you can't get them out without damaging them, and then you got cut bait. Thank you, Stan. Appreciate that very much. What do you say we get ready and give these jigs away, Mark?
Let's do it. Here we go. Let's see where it stops. I didn't enter in there. Let's see. Oh, no, that's 2 stands. What's going on? Oh, Mr. Tully, 41. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Go to If you got Facebook, go to the Facebook page and just message me your shipping address and your real name, and I will get them shipped right out to you. If you're not on Facebook, you can message me or email me at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com.
Just entered it in chat so they would have it, Lyle.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, there we go. We got confirmation. He's in here.
Very good. Very good.
So what do we got going on this week? We got Catfish Weekly on Monday. Well, we got Stan's show Friday night. Jody right after that. Make sure you guys watch both of them. I think there's some tournaments. Obviously, is there tournaments this weekend that you know of, Lyle?
I don't know. I haven't been watching. I have some other things I've been paying more attention to. I know that the bait shop will be on tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on Saturday and Sunday, and of course, Catfish Weekly will be on Monday night. But it seems like there's something going on this weekend, but I don't know what it is. And if not, it won't be very long. There'll be something every Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, the live bait challenge. That's right.
I don't know what that is. So.
Ooh, look where Ryan's. The Alton is tomorrow. Go get him if you're fishing it. Is it is Alton's tournament tomorrow? No.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
What is it Stan saying? It's FLTL.
Oh, it's the Iron Cats live bait. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's on Brian's and Kevin's and Chad's channel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I won't be watching that.
I got doors to fix. Long story. Well, Lyle, I had a good time talking to you tonight.
Yeah, I did. It was a wonderful time. I hope we covered some information for people that are looking to buy new rods, reels, and accessories. Remember that the opinions that I give are strictly mine. You may or may not like them. I don't really care. I'm just trying to help you catch more fish. If you use them like I do, it'll work like it does for me. If you don't, the result might not be the same. But I give you my honest opinion, and Mark does too, on how we do things and why we do them. It's like the micro lights. Like I say, they're not for me. They're not for everybody. But the people that use them, they love them, and they don't want nothing else. And that's fine and dandy. But they're probably half my age, could see a hell of a lot better. But I really do like the ultralights and live action stuff.
Yeah, ultralight's always fun. Definitely. That limber rod out there is a lot of fun. I think somebody mentioned Tenkara rods for microlight stuff. I've never used a Tenkara. That looks like it'd probably be fun. I think those are Korean fishing rods with a spool, like a spooling mechanism on the end of them.
I believe that's correct.
Those are kind of cool too. So,
thank you, Stan.
There's so many different types of fishing I haven't tried. Everything from pinwheels to fly fishing to Tenkara. Oh, another good way to use real light line would be on a cane pole, Lyle. We didn't even talk about that.
We didn't, and a lot of us probably started out that way. I know I used them for years when I was young because we lived out on a farm and we had a pond right behind the house that was full of bluegill and bass, and that's what they give. It's what Mom gave you to use. That's what you had. He's 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. 6. Right? We moved in town. I think I was 6 or 7. But yeah, they're pretty cool. A lot of fun. That's hand-to-hand combat right there.
Yes, sir. It's always fun setting a hook on like a 10 or a 12-foot cane pole too.
Yeah, you kind of got to allow for the
that whip and lock, and that makes a smile to my face every time.
That's kind of like fly rods.
All right, Lyle, again, I had a blast tonight.
Me too. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.